the best way, 'cause he knows us and see it all. Throw me a catchphrase, big out. I never miss a sage-like lesson. Throw me a cliche, big out. I wouldn't miss a sage-like lecture.
Who's singing on that song, by the way?
We actually switch up. Dan sings the first half. He wrote the lyrical content for the first half of the song, I sing a little bit of backup harmony, and then the song in the middle kind of breaks down, goes into a little guitar instrumental, and then it changes the whole mood and pace of the tune. And then I pick up the lead vocal for the second half and finish it out into the end of the song, and then does some backup vocals.
Cool. Do you guys sound similar then, or am I just not listening closely enough when you guys sing?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Do you guys sound? Is it me? Is it just my bad ears today, or do you guys sound kind of similar when you're singing, or what?
Yeah, we have gotten that. I guess it's the brotherly thing. We try and switch it up. We try and kind of like, I don't know. I know I try to sound intentionally sometimes, kind of try and differentiate myself from Pat. But I guess the way to kind of tell is that I wind up singing a lot of the quieter stuff. And Pat's kind of he's the yeller, you know, he's the screamer. The old yeller, the screamer. Dan's just ripping off, really. Yeah, I've been ripping Pat off, yeah, basically. He's the older brother, so I rip him off.
Cool. No, it's I like, it was a pretty impressive, now that I know the kind of backstory, it's even more super prog nerdy, but really in a good way.
Sure.
So I always like to put people on the spot and see what they react to. So when I listen to some of these key tracks, I make some notes to myself. You guys tell me what you think of this. So I don't know about to my dumb ears, the sound sounds kind of retro analog. So I don't know what kind of engineering you're doing. That I like it, and it doesn't sound over compressed in the modern style. So I like that. I like the retro. Go ahead.
Yeah, we sort of intentionally did that. A lot, everything but the vocals was cut to analog. The vocals we wound up doing digital just kind of to save time. But the producer that we worked with, Tim Gillis, he did the first album too, and he's the owner of Big Blue Media Studios where we recorded it, and he's a big believer in that retro sound. He's a huge prog guy. And he really drew a liking to us because of how, you know, we were like, you know, 20 years old and we were listening to Gentle Giant. And he was like, oh, cool, these guys are freaks. so he likes that kind of retro. We both like it, you know. No, we got lucky.
No, you did get lucky because it's, I mean, you can't mistake a new sound, so it's well, I guess you could mistake it for a historical, you know, relic that someone pulled out from the 70s, but but I like it. And of course the retro synths. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's how I like to listen to music. You know, I really don't like the way a lot of new recordings sound. For like what you said, the compression, the over compression, and I really don't like the way a lot of vocals sound with newer bands and horrendous pitch correction. Yeah, horrendous auto-tuning going on and all that stuff.
Yuck. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, we got together with Tim, and we all were really on the same page. Tim kind of got the mojo of the band, that we kind of came from the old school, I guess. But we didn't want to get stuck in the past and just be imitators and, you know, be a Genesis cover band. So we kind of, not that there's anything wrong with that. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But no, he really understood where we were coming from, and we didn't set out to make an album that sounded like it was recorded in the 70s, but in some cases it did, just through the equipment that we used and just some of the techniques that we used wound up kind of being old throwbacks to the way they used to make records back when you actually had to play your music. Yeah, that's what people cared. The old days.
Yeah, I know. No more slicing and dicing. You gotta cut tape if you're gonna get crazy with the editing.
Yeah, true.
So the retro synths, the organs, the synth voices, etc., make a little bit more sense now that you describe you had an old hired hand kind of on the recording. Yeah.
Sure, that was a lot of Tim. Tim kind of the way that Tim and Tom worked. Tom would basically just play, and Tim was kind of like, well, why don't you go for this sound? I mean, Tom definitely had his contributions, don't get me wrong, but there was a lot of like, let's go with the, you know, Van der Graaf organ on, you know what I mean, stuff like that.
He was very hands-on with the production for the keyboards. For the most part, Tim isn't. From our experiences with him, he's not like a sit-in-the-room, hands-on producer. But occasionally, when he sees fit, he will sit in the room and he will play, the producer role as the material is being cut to tape or being recorded. And in that case, with Tom, we only had 2 days with Tom. So everything you hear on the album, Tom recorded in 2 10-hour days, which is pretty amazing. The guy is just insanely gifted. He's a guy.
Wow. So how, Becky, how do you think you're going to reproduce that live, all those big instruments? I mean, I assume you guys had the analog version of those things. What are you going to do live, Becky?
Well, I pretty much have it